Farrell on it again, deep one around the back, Quinn there's the Frenchman goal! It's Andrew Quinn, the underdogs bare their teeth and show their fight in this cup final. Drogheda United strike first.
Welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast, a Drogheda United fans podcast, proudly sponsored by the Coffee Box.
Hello and welcome to the We Are the Drogs podcast, episode 25, season 2. And this week I'm joined by Owen, and we have a very special guest, Fabrice Sterling, all the way from the UK. How you doing, lads?
Very well, very well. Cheers, Greg. Cheers, Burger. Great to be on.
Yeah, all good here. Well, very welcome to the podcast, Fabrice.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you ever hear that phrase, you should never meet your heroes? You know, I'm just wondering if you heard of it, because it's definitely not the case here, so that's
yeah. Yeah, I haven't.
You'll be worried if we're anyone's heroes.
It's a good opportunity for you to apologise for all the abuse you've been giving him over the last month or so, Burger.
Yeah, anyway, moving on.
This is part of our relationship, This is how we operate. It's a mutual understanding between us, which
right.
a lot of people don't really understand. But I get him back. It's fine.
I can relate to that. So Richie's off on his 15th holiday of the year. Man of leisure, that guy.
I mean, Burger's a similar man for the Stags and holidays as well, so I'm surprised you're not away. So
true. It's been me.
Yeah, I don't go away during the summer usually. Try to avoid the kids and all that. Yeah. Wait till September.
You're not going to go away during the season, on.
Exactly. Yeah. International break. That's when I'll go away. To more football.
Yeah, fair. Right, so speaking of away, me and you were over at the Galway game on Friday. Fabrice, did you get to see the game?
I did. I watched it in full, and then for further punishment, I watched a bit of highlights of it. Then afterwards, then to refresh my mind. But yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any highlights.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, I think one of the highlights was the ball going out for a throw-in. I think that was in the 5-minute clip. Like,
It was.
That was a highlight of the game. But I don't know what it was like over there, but it was a chore watching it. It was a terrible game, absolutely terrible game. And I thought we got away with the skin of our teeth. Like we shouldn't have got a point out of that game. Like, there's no way we got a point out of that. Galway should have won that game, and we were very, very lucky. And I thought it was going to be deja vu, like it wasn't the first game of the season. But yeah, Warren had 1 second too long on the ball and missed his chance. But yeah, we were very lucky, I thought, to be honest. Again, comparing it against the week before against Rovers, like it was chalk and cheese,
Yeah, I suppose I was thinking about doing this podcast, and I was thinking it's going to be really difficult for us to fill. Like, I think we've been averaging around an hour for the last while, but, talking about that game in and of itself would be really fucking difficult to fill any space of time, because it was absolutely dreadful. I think we'll get to the points of the game in a while, but one of the main highlights of the game was getting abused by a huge group of kids who were just sat across from us behind the barrier, who we thought were from Galway, and it turns out they were from Carlow. They were a local sort of youth football team from Carlow who were invited to the game, and they were little pricks, and they were just abusing us from a great height and abusing the stewards pretty much solidly for the second 45 minutes. So that was pretty much my memory of that game.
They were probably all Waterford fans, I'd say,
From Carlow. One had a Rovers jersey, yeah. He was one of the worst. I'd love to have got my hands on him.
You did start, in fairness. You started giving them the finger firstly, so.
That's not true. One of them called me Santy, and I wasn't too pleased. And
jeez, you could have been called worse there now, fairness,
Yeah, a couple of lads who are follically challenged were getting abused as well.
Yeah, they were, absolutely. And I gave him the scowling of a lifetime, and then the abuse just started coming, and it got worse and worse and worse. I actually thought it was really funny, but I felt really sorry for that steward, the lady from Galway. She was trying to calm them down. While it looked like one of their minders or coaches or whatever you want was standing there filming the whole thing. He thought it was great.
Yeah, he thought it was hilarious, and then eventually I think they went over to him and they all fucked off then.
Did you get hit on the head by something, Owen?
Yeah, I don't think it was them that did it. I think it was the other lads behind them. It was like a little pebble or something. A couple of us got hit with them, yeah.
I think Figs got a whack in the head off as well. He wasn't too pleased.
Yeah, he did. He got worse one night, yeah.
Man, it's the first time in a couple of decades travelling to Galway that I've ever seen any trouble, and I happen to be from 9-year-olds.
Well, I mean, at least there was more action there than there was on the pitch anyway, you know, to worth looking at.
Yeah, it got very heated around the penalty incident. That was the kind of, and it just escalated from there.
No, but as you said, Fabrice, there was literally nothing worth looking at on the game, so we were all kind of focusing on fighting children. That was our other option, you know.
Just like a school day, really, isn't it? Yeah, so.
Yeah, I had no bother throwing in a few slaps. They were only small. It was easy, like. But anyway, back to the pitch. Back to the action on the pitch, I should say. I mean, the first half, lads, it was kind of what we expected. And we spoke last week, and it's always the way it is in Galway. You're never going to go over there and have it easy. And with the way we set up and the way they set up and the sort of physical nature of both teams, I mean, it was never going to be a game of football. But the first half was probably one of the worst halves I've seen all year, anyway.
Yeah, like you can only copy and paste some of these games over in Galway with us. Like it's just always a slug. And first half particularly, we were a bit better in the first half than we were in the second. Kind of Galway had a bit of a spell in the middle of the second half where they kind of put us under the cosh. That's when they got the penalty. But even for all the shots they had and everything, again, Dennison had fuck all to do. The only thing he had to do is probably psych out Harley to miss another penalty. That's about it. But just not one for watching back again, I don't think.
Yeah, I thought the first half was better than the second half, though. I thought we, you know, it's not like we were brilliant, but I thought we got on the ball much better in the first half. And well, I said within the few bits and bobs that we had a chance to, and you know, we made a bit of an effort. Buckner was down the right hand; he had that chance as well that was tipped over, and there was I think Kane had a chance down the left as well. He was going to pull one back as well for Doyle, but you know, we had a bit more attack going on. And then the second half, though, it was just do you know what? The second half was the first time I ever watched a game of football where a team had no midfield. I thought the midfield walked off the pitch and just left the defence and Alua up front, basically, and there was no one in the middle. It just literally disappeared. And then last 20 minutes, it was just back to the wall. Although, Dennis had a couple of bits and bobs to say, but nothing major, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, I know. Kind of where I was getting to with that was that over the last while, it's been happening consistently all year, is that we've been absolutely terrible in the first half, and then Kev gives them an absolute rollicking at half time, and we come out a different side in the second half, and we bring on a few subs and all that, and it's over the last while that's tended to kind of work. But the other night, that's what I was saying, the first half was absolutely fucking dreadful, and you're kind of going, it can only go uphill from here. We'll do the usual thing that we do every week. We'll come out the second half a bit rejuvenated, and we'll have a right old go. But it was the kind of opposite, to be honest with you. I think when we took Buckner off, the whole thing just seemed to collapse. As you said, the midfield just completely disappeared off the face of the planet, and we were under the cosh for about 20 minutes. And then, I suppose we'll get to it now. Warren Davis, I've looked back at this, and that's a definite foul on Warren that leads to them going up the other end of the pitch and getting a penalty. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was definitely clipped and pulled back. I mean, the way the ref was reffing the game, he was giving fouls for that, a lot of the time, So the fact that he didn't give a foul was a massive surprise. And then because Because then when your man Lamboto went down the other end, that was the exact same foul, and then he gave a penalty for it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was right in front of us as well when Warren was fouled. Like, it was just it's a free kick all day. Like,
and
it's
stats-wise,
really
we came out.
frustrating. Like shit like that goes against you.
Yeah, usually, sorry, Owen, I was just going to say, stats-wise, we came out of that with 3 yellow cards and they didn't get any. And fucking, Perot was absolutely hanging out of Edwin Ekbaje for the whole first half.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ikbaji's jersey wasn't ripped. He was pulling it that much. Like,
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
sent a photograph into the WhatsApp group and it's a literal photo of his jersey being dragged about 2 feet away from his body and nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the commentators were saying that they were saying, they were looking from a Galway perspective, but they were like saying like it was a great battle, and they were calling it a battle, but yeah, like, I mean, Franz, what he does anyway, that's his game, isn't it? Like, he hangs off you and tries to get around you like that,
But do you not find it odd for Brees though? Like when he was playing for us, he would get booked basically, and we ended up having to take him off a good few times when he was at Drogheda because he was fouling opposition players, but he was getting booked for it, and he didn't get booked for it the other night. And I'm not sure how many times he has been booked this season, like, because he's very physical player. He will try and roll you and get round you and all that. I'm sure he's a real handful to deal with, but I just found it odd the other night, and I felt like he lost a bit of control of the game at one point, the ref.
yeah, he definitely did. Even like with Franz, I was actually watching. Like, he did pull him up on a few of them. Like, I think Franz had 4 fouls. He wasn't booked. Like, nearly all for the same thing, really. But he did lose. There was a spell of that game where the ref just completely lost control, I think.
How do you not get booked for consistent fouling?
Yeah,
Do you know
I don't
what I
know.
mean? That's bizarre, like.
Well, I mean, that's just bad refereeing, though. You know what I mean? It's a bit like, what was it? Like, it was like that Argentina-England game in the World Cup where, the referee didn't do anything at the beginning and then just lost control and it just went wild, like, maybe not to the same extent. But like, if a referee doesn't get like, I tell you one thing though, like, at least you got the Ryan Brennan one at the end very correct anyway, so yeah. although I would say I'd say Pico Lopez probably looking at it going, well, why is that a red if I got red the week before then, so, but
Go on, refresh me memory there. I didn't watch the highlights.
what, at the end? Ryan Sackle at the end.
Yeah, what happened? Go on.
Well, he lashed in 2-footed into the Galway player, didn't he?
Yeah, he went fucking flying, and it was a great yellow card.
It was literally the last. It was the last. I don't know. It must be the last 30 seconds or something like that. Yeah, I think it was. And then. Oh yeah. So, do you know where it was? We were on the attack. And again, this is another thing that was kind of lack of midfield, right? The ball went into the box. It came out. Bulger ended up on the wing at the edge of the box, the Galway area. And he did well, and he held it up. And he was probably near in front of Hughes anyway in the away section. Yeah. But then nobody came to help him. And he was he was trying to take on, like, he's a centre half, not a winger. And he was there holding the ball up, waiting for someone just to drop to come in just so they can whip it in again. But like, nobody came to help him. He did his best and then lost it. They went on the counter attack. And then, your man was about to go in and then Ryan just went and cleaned them out then, so.
Right, yeah, no, I'd forgotten about that. I think I was busy arguing with children at the time, so that's my excuse. But I do remember clearly Bulger losing the ball and us going absolutely bananas that there was nobody within 20, 30 feet of him, like. Absolutely crazy. Jesus wept. So, for their penalty, was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? For Galway.
My initial thought was that it was.
Yeah, it looked like a penalty to me anyway. I think I don't know the replays there were no replays really, but they couldn't even be bothered to zoom in at all in the camera like in Galway. But like, it was just he got caught. I think Ekbaji got caught wrong. I mean, your man when he came on, like the Galway subs made a massive difference compared to our subs. Like in the last few weeks, like Kev is made to subs and they've made a bit of a difference, especially against Rovers. They made a difference and bolstered. But like the subs this week or on Friday night, like they did the opposite. They did not much at all. But the Galway ones, Lamboto came on and he turned Ekbaji and like yeah, it was definitely. To me, it looked like a penalty anyway. But but as we saw, Hurley got psyched out of it anyway.
So what were the subs? I know we brought Jay O'Godden on. He came on for Bates. We brought Warren on for Doyle.
Buckner,
Buckner, and the other sub was
Anselin.
Anselin come on.
You said Barney for Igbaji, did you?
For Bulger. No, it was Bulger, wasn't it? Bulger went off, didn't he? Go off injured.
No, he stayed on till the end.
No,
you just talked about
after the penalty,
Igbaji
got taken off.
Oh,
he was already on the yellow. So
that was it. Yeah, Igbaji. Yeah, that's right.
I thought, like, on a more positive note, it was really good to see Warren back on, and he did look fresh enough. And with that kind of chance that he had towards the end, it would have been, as you said, Fabrice, probably would have been a fucking daylight robbery if we had took 3 points out of the game. But it was a good opportunity, and I think the defenders done well because he kind of got in between the two of them. And I'd say a really fit Warren on top of his game would have buried it.
Yeah, I think he just took that 1 second. Like he got the touch. He got I think it was a Godden, or Anselin or someone just paid him in, and then you could see him. He was getting in between the two centre halves, and then he just took that one extra touch, and then that was it. Then they closed him down and got the block in. Then but it was just, if he had took it that second earlier, then I reckon that he would have had a chance of scoring. But yeah, it would have been daylight robbery though. It
would, and it would have been fucking great because there's no better way of winning a game. Like, I mean, the first game of the season in Galway this year, when Godden did it to them, it was just absolutely brilliant. Like,
yeah. I felt during the game that we started the game in the usual formation, like Lua's on the left of the three, Doyle and then Buckner, and then I swear he switched to 2 up front with Lua and Doyle, because I saw Lua seemed to be kind of coming in a bit more central. Or I don't know whether that was just sort of him just drifting in more, or whether they switched, but like, I was just thinking, I was trying to figure out the formation. It was hard to kind of figure it out on the telly, like, but I mean, it just seemed to be a bit strange where, like, we just seemed to lose control in the midfield after that then, and I just felt I was just thinking, why don't we just keep the same, same formation, I suppose, or same style of attack, because it was, that's something, I don't know, whether it was a formation change or whether it was just, people just run the muck, I suppose,
Owen? Did you know?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it kind of did a bit, particularly when we were under the cosh. I suppose you even had Anselin. He was nearly in the left wing back position defending. Actually, he done well. Actually, won a couple of balls and intercepted and stuff. But yeah, you definitely could. There was a bit of a switch.
Yeah, right. I suppose formation is one thing. Just the starting lineup, like we kind of said last week that I think we'd like to see Anselin probably get a start. I mean, are we going to, like, maybe next week in the cup game, because it's a different animal altogether, is he going to give a lot of the kind of, I won't say fringe players, but lads coming back from injury, and because we do have a fairly strong bench now with Quinn and Cruz and a couple of people back on the bench, but would you like to have seen Anselin maybe start in Galway rather than just going with the tried and tested? Because, I mean, the tried and tested didn't work, and I'm not saying it worked any better when Anselin came on, but he's not getting much of an opportunity. Maybe start the man and see what happens.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Because, I mean, that game was, I think it was made for him, to be honest, right? And if you listen to, I don't know if you saw Ken's interview with the, the Drogheda media team afterwards, but like the reason he said Kavanagh didn't come on as a sub was because of the game. It was like too physical, and it wasn't his sort of game. Like, so I thought, like, why didn't, I thought Anselin and, Doyle, again, he didn't have much service. He couldn't really, like, those two centre halves for Galway, like, just cleaned up everything, basically, like, everything that went up there. So I thought Anselin would have been much better to start that game, to add a bit of physicality and a bit of, he's got a good touch as well, and he's good in the air as well. So why not?
He definitely has all those attributes. I didn't catch Kevin saying that about Kavanagh, to be honest. That's a strange, that's a strange one when you consider we had Markey in that position for years, and he would have started all of those games, and he would have played well in some of those games, because we needed a ball player rather than that says something about how Kevin goes into these kind of matches with the likes of Galway. He's like, right, well, this isn't a football match. This is going to be like fucking, a game of Gaelic over here, lads. We just need the big boys in. That I don't know about that. Try and get the ball on the deck. That's what we were saying the other night. Keep the ball on the ground and try and pass it around them, because I think we're good enough to do it.
Yeah, there was one move in the game where we got the ball down. It was in it was the second half, actually, I think it was, and we got the ball down and we start playing it, and we held the ball for at least 6 or 7 passes, I reckon, maybe a bit more, and moved it from left to right over, and then I think there was a chance to get into the box, or I may have got a corner or something, I can't remember, but but that was like the first time where we kind of, we had a bit of control. We took our time, and the players were able to start moving the ball around, rather than just the usual, direct into the corner, or on top of the defender's head or something like that, But like the comment he made, like, to your point there, actually, like that interview with him, like for the whole interview, like he just kept referring to, like, oh, you know what you get when you come to Galway. It's a battle type of thing. And it's like, it's kind of, it seemed to me, it sounded like, well, he was, like you said, he was expecting, like, I don't know, a Gaelic football match, like, and then, and then he made that little comment kind of at the end about Kavanagh kind of not playing, and he said that it wasn't his sort of game. Like, I was thinking, kind of, it would have been his game if he can get him the ball, though,
Yeah. I don't know. It felt, I did watch a couple of his interviews. He did one for LOY TV as well, and then he did LMFM, and he did one more with a local Galway blog guy. I'm not sure it's on WordPress. I can't remember what your man's name is. English guy. He's actually quite good, but I felt like in the interview, like, I know he's never going to come out and say, no, we were absolutely fucking terrible, and we didn't do a lot in the game, and, we didn't deserve it. But he's always going to look for the positives, because he knows players listen to interviews, and he doesn't want to put out a negative. But I did feel that he was quite happy to get the point. And I know, Owen, you were saying this yesterday, we had a fairly sort of long loads of banter going between everyone on the WhatsApp and all that, but you were fairly happy coming home at the point.
Yeah, because we were lucky to get it. That's why.
Right.
And obviously previous history there, like how I know we won there earlier this season, but it's always such a slog and a tough game, and they're always tight. So you're kind of, the point wasn't the worst result in the world.
No, whereas I was kind of coming at it from, like, it just feels sometimes like it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Do you know what I mean? I think you alluded to that a little bit, Fabrice, at the beginning there. We play really, really well against Rovers. I know it's in United Park, and it's a different kind of performance. It's a real battling performance. We did defend okay, I suppose, over in Galway, out from the penalty. But I just didn't think we offered fucking anything going forward.
Yeah,
we just couldn't get the ball.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree. I think a draw was a good result. I would have taken a draw before the game started. Like, I wouldn't. I think a draw. I think we were lucky to get the draw, but I think a draw is it's a good point. And given Waterford's result as well, then yesterday, like it's making it even more important to pick up points, or to keep it going, but yeah, I think, like, the one thing this year, like, I think it's kind of going back to the whole story of the season, like, and one thing that I think the biggest difference this year compared to previous seasons, apart from losing and conceding lots more goals and the obvious stuff, right? But like, we're not the same counter-attacking team like we were in the last season and sort of the second half of 24. And we don't have that counter-attacking speed. And I just feel that, like, there's players in the team who just don't, I don't know, they don't seem to, they're trying hard and they're working hard, and, that's fine, that's great, and we know that. But, like, I don't think they're made, or they're not responding to the counter-attacking style that we have. Like, if you look at the example, right, like, on the game against Galway, every time the ball was put into the Galway box and the keeper caught it, right, within about 1 or 2 seconds, he was at the edge of his box and he was launching it, and he was there looking on the counter, right? Every single time, right? Every time, for most of the time when we have the ball, like Dennison, he holds on to the ball. He tries to start a counter attack, but in general, like there's not much happening. And then he holds on to it for 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. Everyone sets up, and then you start over again, and that's it. And that's kind of before that, like last year, like he was flying out of the box. He was like in the edge of his box after about 1 or 2 seconds, launching it, throwing it, kicking it, whatever. Sometimes out of play, most of the time out of play, but at least he was getting it out, right? At least he was getting it out, like. But I think, like, we've lost that speed, and that was the one that we used to like get teams, like, and we used to kill them with our speed, but now, like, we just let them set up, and then, it's easy then, really, we can't play through teams, and we have to kind of play over them, I suppose, and then and after that then, or through set pieces, I suppose,
And is that because we're missing the likes of Owen Lamb, and Conor Kane doesn't seem to be half the player he was last year for that kind of thing, for just getting the ball and running at people and, putting teams under pressure? Owen Lamb is a massive miss.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Lamb is huge. Like, he's you really see the difference, like, with him there. But I think I said it to you there the other week there, like, at the Rovers game, like. But like, I would, like, I'm like, if we're playing in that sort of, especially with a forward to back, right? I would, and might be a controversial decision, but I would switch out, if he's fit, I would switch out Agbaje and put Quinn as a right full instead. Purely because every time Andy Quinn has had the ball, even as a centre half, he just goes forward. He picks up the ball and he dribbles and he attacks and he goes forward. All right. And Agbaje is great at controlling the ball, and he's great. He's composed. He's close knit, but like, he's not a counter attacking fullback. Like, you see the ball, like, it's rare that he's like Lamb when Dennison had the ball, like, Lamb was basically nearly in the 18-yard box, when he had that, like, where Agbaje is like near a corner flag waiting for the shorter kind of pass, to play out and run it from the back. It's a different style, different play, like, but I mean, it just means that we lose that sort of edge to our sort of counter-attacking style,
Is there something to be said for when Quinn comes back in? If we're playing the 5 at the back, that he'll go with Quinn, Bolger and Keeley, and then maybe play Kane and Buckner, or do you know what I mean? Would he leave Agbaje out the side?
Well, I think Agbaje is a good centre half, though. Like, I think he's a better centre half than he is a right foot, to be honest. I think I think whenever he's played in that sort of like centre half-ish or tree, I think he's much suited there, But I think just as a full back, as a kind of an attacking full back, he's not that attacking full back like Lamb was,
Is he a better centre half than Quinn, in your opinion?
Maybe, perhaps. I think it's fairly. I think it's too. I think he has. He's a bit bigger anyway. I think, isn't he? I think he's probably a bit bigger and taller, so he's probably suited for more centre half. But I think. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's better, but I mean, I think
Quinn's better at carrying it forward, as you said. Like, you've seen the amount of times Quinn's just got the ball and kind of ran through the midfield. Like, seems to really good at carrying the ball forward.
Yeah,
and he's an eye for goal as well.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing. It's just that attacking, ball carrying, skill.
Well, we have said it on this pod. There was at various times this season when Quinn was in and he was fit, that he looked a shadow of his former self. It wasn't going great for him. So, I know he's on the bench and he's fit now again, and I'm looking at it with rose-tinted glasses. I'm looking at the player of last year, thinking, when we were good, those 3 lads were the sort of wall, like a rock in the defence. Quinn, Bolger and Keeley. So I don't know. I suppose it's what's going on in training and all that has a massive sort of difference here. But that is one of our massive issues. I know that you can kind of blame injury for a lot of it, but there's not a lot of consistency in the team. When we have everyone fit, I would love to know what our best 11 is, because we just haven't really been able to arrive at that all season. I know we're after bringing in a few now during the window and stuff as well, so that kind of throws the cat among the pigeons too. But it'll be interesting to see if we get some sort of a solid 11 going into the last 10 league games. Just to kind of touch on the other results, I suppose the big one you already alluded to a little bit was the Waterford gave Bows a bit of a hiding. I don't think I wasn't expecting it to be an easy game for Bows, but I don't think anyone was expecting 3-1, and it could have been more.
Yeah, I watched that yesterday. Geez, Bows were fucking awful. Really, really poor. Their obviously heads are thinking about the European game, but like Waterford didn't even have to be that good to like score them from set pieces. Like they were just real simple stuff. Like
Couple of long throws, and
could have been more. Like Benny Couto. Yeah, didn't realise he had a big long throw on him. But
massive.
Yeah, but like Ammon chested the ball in like for one of the goals. Like that's how easy it was.
So poor.
Yeah. I mean, I think now, like, I think we're in, you know, if like the Waterford game, I think Waterford are like, they're flying now at the moment. I think we we have to try and keep in touch and distance with them, like, you know, and then if we can keep within like 1 or 2 points of them up until we play them, then obviously that's a cup final game basically. But you know, like our next 2 home games now, like, you know, are massively important, like, you know, and if we can get more positive, if we get a win at least out of one of those, then we might put a bit of a daylight between us and them, though, you know.
Would you be like just looking at how we're playing and how Waterford have played, say, over the last, how long is Coughlin in there? I'm not sure, 6-7 games, is he? Maybe more.
No, it's more than that, I think.
April, he was there since April. Yeah.
Right. But just looking at how we're kind of approaching games and how we're playing, I know we're unbeaten in 5, and you have to be positive about that and all that. But just, you know, taken away from the results that we've gotten, just looking at how we're going into games and all that, it's very hard to see us. And I know you're going to throw it at me now and say, "Oh, well, we won in Dundalk a few weeks ago," which we did with no fans, and that was a massive 3 points. You can't underestimate how big that was, but it's hard to kind of be confident going into this last 10 games of the season, just knowing that it's kind of upturn in Waterford, and we know how Galway are. Really, really difficult to play against. I know they got a point in Dalymount a few weeks ago as well. Sligo, you would like to think pretty much nailed on for that 10th spot. You'd really hope. Is there a 5-point gap between us and them now?
6
now, yeah.
6 points, right. So, yeah, because we got a point.
To be honest, I'm looking at the league table there. I'm more looking at Galway than Waterford, the way things are panning out. Like,
you're looking at Galway, what? To come down?
Yeah, like I think at the middle, like Waterford will finish ahead of Galway, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Galway have a game in hand, but still, like, I mean, it's still very tight, though, you know.
I don't know who it's against now, but
is it Derry? No, it's not. A Pats or something.
I'm not sure now.
Yeah, no, you would look at, I mean, Galway are the second form team in the league. I think before it's not Galway, Waterford were the second form team in the league before that game the other day against Bows, and I think Bows were the form team in the league. So how that changes after that the other day, but definitely Waterford are up there in the top 2 for form. And they just look totally and utterly rejuvenated. But as Borga, you've been saying it just goes to show you how much of a shit job that John Daly was doing, considering the squad he has at his disposal. Like, some good players there.
Yeah, look, sure, but they were tipped to probably push on for Europe before a ball was kicked, like with the signings they made. Like, they got Conor Noonan permanently. They spent around 50 grand on him. Like, they had made some decent signings.
Yeah, John Mahon as well from Sligo as well, isn't it?
John Mahon, yeah. And that's they had Lonergan, and they kept Hammond. But I was talking to Waterford guy. You can, I won't name him, but you can probably guess who he is if I was talking to him. And I sort of said to him, like, Jesus, John Daly must have been a really shit manager. And he just said, he's a nice fella. That's all he said.
I think we know who you're talking about. That's what he said.
Send your answers in to weirdclubs@gmail.com.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. So, yeah, bit of a disaster, but you could kind of see a world where Waterford overtake Galway and end up kind of settling in around that 7th spot. That looks pretty likely with the way things are going. But you can, bad for us, you can also see a world where it's us and Galway battling it out for that 9th spot. And I said this a few weeks ago, lads, but I think I'd take that now.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the goal difference as well, like our goal, we're like 5 worse off than Galway, you know, and so so that's like an extra point, like for Galway as well, you know, if you count the gap, but yeah, to be honest, yeah, I wouldn't be too disappointed with 9th at this stage, like, you know, I mean, it might sound defeatist, whatever, but still though, like at this stage like I'd rather be 9th than 10th, you know. At least 9th gives you a chance, you know. And then you can, and I mean, looking at the first division and looking at the teams there, kind of following Cork, like again, it's the usual suspects like Bray and, you know, maybe Cove, and that's kind of it really. Like, you know, the others are just sort of, you know, in and out.
I think Derry and Shells are completely out of it.
Yeah, I think Derry will. Derry will
5 ahead of us. Shells are 6. Shells have a game in hand, but Shells are in shocking form since Russell took over.
Yeah, but they'll be out of Europe like after Thursday, so, you know, they'll be back, you know, to just have the league then, you know. And same with Derry, you know, they've got rid of their Lynch.
Well, the new managing with Derry could be it, but
yeah. And
then Crafttown are at their 37, and they're in terrible form. I think they've 2 points out of the last 18 available. So if that keeps up, you never know.
Oh, you made me day. I didn't realise that.
They're probably too far, but look, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can't see. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I can see Derry or Shells kind of slipping back and ended up being in this little battle with us and Galway. And
they should. But it happened a few years ago. Shells sort of fell into the 9th spot, and then they lost the playoff against Longford, I think it was.
It was a very different team then, though.
Yeah,
I know, but even just to slip down like it happened.
Yeah, I mean, somebody put up the stat there earlier on. I think it was John Russell's last eight league games. He's lost 7 and drawn 1, and that was against Sligo against Shells.
Yeah,
like that's a horrendous record. Like,
yeah.
And then somebody else.
He's probably under a little bit of pressure already.
Oh, I'd imagine he is on. Somebody else.
Even internal pressure to I need to turn these around soon enough.
Yeah, like somebody told me this earlier on, and look, I know there's a lot of shy flies around the place, and you don't know what truth is in it, but apparently people in Sligo were kind of happy enough to sort of get rid of him, and there was people talking about like giving him the boot, and then the Shells interest came along, so they were like, "Oh, happy days, we don't have to fucking sack him. Shells will just take him off our hands." You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get a few quid for him.
Yeah, it's a very strange scenario, and like as I said, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I do know a lot of Sligo fans were quite happy to see him go as well.
Yeah, I've seen like online comments and stuff. Yeah, they weren't overly upset now.
No.
Yeah. I mean, but even still though, I think he's probably got a little bit of leeway because they're 10 points off third, so like chances of them getting Europe is pretty slim. So like the probably expectation is like you're not going to get Europe in the league because that was already done, you know, from the crap there. So like he's probably got a bit of leeway in that front. He just probably needs to stay within touching distance of like 4th, I suppose, you know, and not drop down any worse, I suppose. Then the key.
Yeah, I suppose we'll probably move on from there, and I know we've got College Corinthians coming up on Saturday in the Cup, which is probably, I know it sounds weird, but it's probably a bit of welcome relief from the league again. It's always nice to take a break from the league and play a non-league team in the Cup. We seem to be getting decent draws. Fingers crossed. I'm not counting me chickens. I know some of these places can be hard to go to, and it doesn't look like the most luxurious place either. On you sent a photograph of it. It's just basically a fucking field with a railing around it.
Yeah, it looks like it's only one-sided really that you can stand and watch. But yeah, so they won 5-4 in the last round against Bangor Celtic away.
Okay.
I'm just looking at their squad list here to see they recognise they're only ex-League of Ireland. And none really that I recognise so far.
Okay.
But yeah, like, they're a bit of an unknown. Like I think they're in pre-season still, so they've that going against them as well.
We have to win, though. We have to.
You'd be expecting to.
If we don't, this is we get another handy draw in the next round, and then you're back in a cup semi-final. Then you know what I mean. It's probably one of the easiest cup competitions in the world to play in. To get into Europe, So
is there any handy draws in the next round though? Because you can see all the big boys coming out of it, and then you're into the nitty gritty. Then
yeah, but Pats and Rovers playing each other in this round as well. So that's
exactly. And then pick up a first division team. I think there's first division teams playing against each other in this round as well, isn't it?
I'm just looking: Galway, Bray, UCD, Derry, Waterford, Athlone, Corinthians, Drogheda, Craftown, Castlebar. Hopefully Castlebar get through. Sligo, Kerry. That's an easy one for Kerry, I'd say. Yeah, Pat Rovers, Bows, Longford. So look, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I can't see any first division teams coming out of that. But yeah, again, you never know. Bray actually, look, you were talking about earlier on for a potential playoff opponent. Bray actually look really good. They got a lot of young, hungry, good at scoring goals.
Yeah, and they actually lost a few players in the window there as well. So
one fella went to England, didn't he? He was fairly high profile, didn't he? I think he went to went to England or something.
Yeah. So look, I mean, you're potentially going down to College Corinthians with, a more or less a full squad, excluding the long-term injury. No word of Ethan O'Brien. We haven't a clue what's going on there, so there's no point in speculating. But what way do we set up for that game? Do we more or less just start all the big boys and then introduce Quinn? Hopefully, if we're 2 or 3 up, and I'm not being cocky there, but you should be looking to be a couple of goals up. Do we just reintroduce the lads that coming back from injury, then try and get a few minutes into their legs and job done type thing?
Yeah, I mean, Kavanagh should play because he should be about 500 levels above any of what they can offer. So he should be on, and get Ansel to start, and then he'd be too strong for hopefully their defence. Kavanagh would be too skillful for them, and then should create loads of openings. And Warren, get all those players on, get them, race into early few goals in the start of the game, and then that's it. Then you can kind of just take it handy and make your switches and all that type of stuff. Then be professional about it. That's all that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's it. Best case scenario, just get out of there, even if it's only 2-0 or something. But no one cares.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know we've been talking fairly negatively, of the game on Fridays, and that, but I think the one positive is obviously we had a clean sheet, right? We didn't concede, right? In fairness, I thought, although Galway did put a little pressure, I thought the defence stood up fairly well. They did, there was a couple of openings, fine, and but I mean, on the whole, though, they stood up very well. There wasn't really a massive clear-cut opportunity. There was 1 or 2 where there was the ball scrambling in the box and stuff like that. But I thought, the defence as well. So I think if we can continue that, Rovers was great. I think Rovers was the best team performance I've seen all year. And then Galway defence kind of took, sort of bailed us out a bit. And then we just need to get back to that team performance, kind of full, complete team performance for the full 90, 97 minutes or whatever it is,
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, and I think most people would. I think the concern is it's as you said earlier, the midfield is a bit absent, and we just don't seem to be creating an awful lot of chances. But again, we could sit here and talk about this for another 4 hours. There's no consistency in us. We just don't know what we're going to do. We could come out in the next league game and be fucking Barcelona. Who knows? Because at this stage of the game, does it really matter how we get results? But we need to pick up wins. These draws are only going to, we're going to end up where we are. But is that ninth or is that eighth? Like a couple of wins could really fucking just help us solidify that kind of eighth place or even seventh if we were lucky.
Yeah, we're in the we don't need performances anymore. We need wins. We need results.
Yeah.
Part of the season, so kind of. We're moaning about kind of performances and, earlier in the last couple of months, whatever, but now it's kind of like, right, forget it. You're not going to get a performance now, you just have to get results and that's it,
Yeah, no, 100%. I think Owen would agree with that. We've been saying that for ages as well. Just while we have you on, Fabrice, what's your I know you were in United Park a couple of weeks ago for the Shamrock Rovers game. That's your first game in about a year, maybe?
About a year, yeah. So, yeah, because the last year when I came back, I was over I went to the Derry Cup game away last year. So, with all the shenanigans getting stopped and all that on the way, which was fun, But,
yeah.
Yeah, that was good crack. But yeah, so it kind of so I wanted to get to a home game this year, so that was my objective. So I'm glad I got to one, and we didn't lose, so that was a bonus as well.
And what are you making of say for instance just the ground and the little improvements that have been made to it and all that? What's your thoughts on what's going on around the club?
I think it's great. It's it's for. The atmosphere, I thought the atmosphere was so different, because, normally, you'd be down the pub and you'd be sort of looking at your watch and it'd be 7:30 and then you'd be, down in a drink and then you'd be, running up the road, Windmill Road, and then they'd be, trying to trying to get... Yeah. But we're doing that an hour earlier, though, that's it, But, the difference there of walking up early, going in, and then having the bar behind the goal, and it's really nice setup. I was really impressed by it. And beer is nice, and it's quick, and it's what I mean. There's no it's a really good it's thought out well. It's really good setup, and it makes a huge difference then to the whole sort of atmosphere, and then going down at half time as well. And I just thought yeah, I mean, you can't you said we spoke about it then. You can't do too much more to that to the ground, right? It's it is what it is, but just adding those little bits of touches is just really makes a massive difference, to the thing. And it's, I'm just thinking back to years and years ago, when we used to go, and it was there was nothing. You'd be lucky to get a bloody curly whirly down the corner there at some stages, you know what I mean?
A curly whirly.
Yeah, and a can of Coke, but now, there's, you can get decent grub, there's a good bar, there's a bit of music there, there's a bit of, adds to the whole sort of, to the experience economy, as they say, football, it's entertainment industry now, it's not sport anymore.
No, absolutely. I think it's unanimous. Everyone agrees with that. It's just good to get sort of an opinion of somebody who hasn't been in the ground in a while but knows the ground well for going for so long. But have you been keeping your eye on the kind of things going on off the pitch as well, the walking football team and the special needs team and the women's football and all that? There seems to be a lot more kind of effort to do. I know a lot of these things are coming with the license now. You kind of have to do them, but it's great in comparison to say 10, 15 years ago, where I think there was a real disconnect with the local community.
Yeah.
And walking around town now, even where I live, there's just kids in Drogheda gear and loads of people wearing, Drogheda baseball caps or jerseys or whatever it is. You just see it's a lot more visible around the place. And I know a lot of that is down to the cup because, the club sold out of merch fucking 10 times over, and, you could buy all this stuff around that time, which is brilliant. That's exactly what we need. But it does definitely a bit more of an engagement, I think. There's a bit more of a buy-in from the community in Drogheda than there was maybe 5 years ago.
The difference I found from years gone by, even during the glory times, during the glory years, Dulo and all that type of stuff, the club now is just so much more professional, from top to bottom, everywhere, right? Just the way the organisation, the professionalism, and I think you could see it in what Trevella brought into, they just brought in people who just know what they're doing, know how to organize. I'm not saying every single decision is perfect, right? There's never is. Like that's just life. But it's just everything is just more organized. It's more, you said, like, you talk about all the activities. Like I follow, as sort of so in my, back, where I live, like in sort of the east of England, like I coach kids football teams and stuff like that. And so I follow all this kind of academy stuff, and I see all the activity that they're doing, like, I think, what's the guy's name who's the head of or director of kind of academy at Drogheda? He's John O'Donoghue, is it, or something like that? His name is, or I can't remember his name, but
that's John O'Donoghue, yeah.
Yeah, John Donoghue. Yeah, he's really active, like across, like, sort of like the likes of LinkedIn and social media and stuff like that around that type of thing. And I see a lot of stuff what's going on. You really see the website; it's all updated now, new website, and there's news articles kind of constantly there. Talking about the under 20s and the under, and the other teams as well, and stuff like that. Like I think it's deadly. Like it's brilliant. And again, I went into the shop there as well last week, in Scotch Hall, and just get a jersey, like, and. It's just great, like, to have everything just there, like, I remember, like, before when they said, oh yeah, we're going to open a shop. Nobody knew where the shop was going to be. Nobody knew what time it was ever going to be opened at. No, and then the times it used to say that it used to be, this is before Trabella, by the way, and like, used to say, like, times when it used to be opened. It was never opened. They used to say, yeah, we'll sell this, that, and the other. You go down there, there's none of it there. Like, it was just like shambles. Like, it was just, and it wasn't anybody's, I say, those people in the shop's fault or anything. But like, it was just things like that used to be kind of annoying me, like, but now, like, it's just really, like, just far more professional. It just feels professional, and it just feels, you don't have to sort of think about stuff like that. As a fan, you just think about the football and sort of enjoy the rest then,
Yeah, no, very, very good point. And I do find it odd though, how we can get used to a situation when it is so haphazard and all that, because obviously we were being run by a group of volunteers, and those people put in some absolutely serious time and hours into the football club, and I know we all absolutely appreciate what they did, because a lot of those people were there when things went absolutely tits up, and they helped to keep the show on the road, which is incredible. Like, we can't knock anybody for the work they did or didn't do, because, raising kids and having jobs and all that, and then, spending hours up in United Park or on the turnstiles or making tea or whatever it was and all that. I do find it funny that, and I mean, I'm talking about myself now and everyone else, you just get used to the professionalism really, really quickly, and that becomes the norm, which is correct. I mean, it should be the way it is. There's no point in having a professional team on the pitch, paying out a lot of money in wages and looking for some sort of success on the pitch if off the pitch is going to be a bit of a mess. Because when you look around the league and you look at the likes of Derry, apparently that's a huge part of what's wrong with that football club. It's just such a fucking mess off the pitch, and it's still, I think they still have a massive percentage of volunteers and all that, trying to help out, but it's just not working for them, because you end up spending savage money on wages. They're doing up the stadium and all that, which is great, fair play, putting in a new stand and all that, and I know they tried to sort out their training base. This isn't about Derry, by the way. It's just an example of a team that doesn't seem to have the community buy-in, because they were talking about your man Lynch and saying he had no time for Derry fans and all that. But I think what we do have in Drogheda is a strong bond with Kev and Dara and the group of players. And regardless of how some people think how crap we are, I don't think it ever gets toxic in a way that a lot of other football clubs do. And I think that's just down to the sort of community feel that we have at the football club. Would you agree with that, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I think just like I think football in Ireland, like in general, I think it probably doesn't still have it's not as community or as involved, say, as the GAA, right? I think the GAA have, like, they've built that over, years and years and years and type of thing. But like, I think Drogheda, like, I think it is a big difference. Like you said, like I see, walk around the last couple of weeks, like here, like, and I see, just loads of people in jerseys, in the gear, in the kits and stuff like that, like, just walking around and stuff, whereas, years ago, like, you you see someone with a draw the jersey, you kind of wonder what's wrong with them, like, you know, sometimes, you know. Or, you know.
Oh, fuck's sake. Wonder what's wrong with them. You okay, mate?
Yeah, they probably ran out of clothes. It's all in the wash, you know, and that's all they had left to draw the jersey, you know, the one with the big McDonald's logo on it, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear that one. But again, like, just to get your opinion, because you're not living here and you're not at the games week in, week out. Like, how are you feeling about the sort of off the pitch stuff that happened? Like, I know this year has been it's just been fucking full of turmoil. Yeah. Like, it's been the weirdest, most sort of disjointed season that we've had. I mean, I know we had all that crap about not getting into Europe, and then the thing with Joanna Bourne and fucking, you know, Kevin doing that interview and calling Dundalk a shithole, which we all applaud him for. But there just seems to be something every fucking week coming to kind of knock us.
Yeah, I think I think this year we can we need just to get out alive. Like, we just need to get up, stay up in the Premier, and just sort of write this season off as a sort of a, like, you know, just forget about it and move on, right? Because I think this, like, the whole thing with, you know, I think the thing with Joanna and Travella and what went on there, like, you know, I mean, you say football and politics can't mix. I mean, you know, as we see in the World Cup, it does, like, you know, and everyone else it does. But I mean, that was, I don't know. There was probably could have been handled better, I think, you know. So I think in both ways, I think there was a bit of a
both sides.
Both sides could have handled it better. Should have handled it better. You know, I think there should have been. You know, it should have been. You know, if there was a sort of, you know, if there was sort of like intentions on Travella's part, it should have been probably made a bit more clear up front. You know, and then I think Joanna probably should have just made. You know, could have just. You know, maybe. Not, you know, a lot of stuff could have been done behind the scenes rather than out in public, you know, kind of was like, it was a bit, to me, it felt a bit like airing kind of dirty kind of clothes out in public a bit, like, you know, rather than just saying, look, let's just, for the sake of the club, let's just, you know, keep things behind the scenes and do that, you know, and sort of that way, like, you know. And then obviously then was the whole hoo-ha and Dundalk with the ultras and the flares and all that, which was, I mean, you know, like, fine with a ban, but like the whole 5-game ban was well over the top, you know. That was ridiculous, like, you know. Like, I mean, I get it, a fine and a ban and then a little bit of a ban, and, you know, ban is from Dundalk because, you know, who wants to go there, to be honest, like, but like,
yeah,
that was a reward.
Yeah. Look,
but now what's going to happen with Rovers with their fan attacking the Dundalk players at the Friday night?
Yeah, see that your man ran on the pitch and faced up to what's his face, Horgan, then, you know.
Horgan, yeah. He swung for one of them as well. Like, that's, to me, that's as bad as what happened in Oriel.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Rovers will get a fine, and that's it, right? And then, you know, and you see, and like, there's been nothing in the news about it. There's, you know, the Minister for Sport hasn't come out and said it's a disgrace, has he? You know, or he's probably too busy in his fucking holidays or something like that, you know, to give a shit about it. Like, so, like, again, you know, it's always, there's double standards a lot. Like, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't have been punished. We should have, but like, the whole 5-game thing was very disruptive, and then, you know, and then, you know, there was a hoo-ha, like, rumours of like Travella pulling out, you know, because they've had enough, and, you know, and then there was like Kevin was under pressure, and, you know, and you could, you know, and all this other thing, and it definitely had an effect. It definitely, because, you know, all that noise, you know, you can't say it didn't have an effect, but like, yeah, hopefully it's all done now, and we can sort of just save this season, stay in the Premier, and then rebuild for next. Then, you know. Can't believe talking about next season now already.
I know, but I do, you know, you raise a very, very valid point. I think that attitude needs to be sort of everyone's attitude between now and the end of the season, is just that after the shit we're after going through and everything that's gone wrong, injuries to players, blah, 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 blah. A lot of what's gone wrong has not been of our own making. And I mean, our as in Kevin or the players, or, you know, a lot of it's been fans making, as you said. The Oriel Park thing and all that, but all the other examples of stuff that have gone wrong for us, you know, is really, really out of Kevin's hands. And I'm not making excuses either. Like, I know we've been pretty poor at times, and, you know, there's times where I've been losing my mind about how shit we have been, but it's just between now and the end of the season, it's just about just get those few more points on board and just stay in this league. And write that season off as a bit of a false start and just go again next year. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I think let's forget about performances. Let's just look at the results, and I think we've kept 2 clean sheets in a row. That's a positive. We're lucky. Maybe the luck is coming our way now for a change. Maybe we're going to get a bit of luck. Who knows? After
on the clean sheets, the stat here, Owen Reid actually sent this in. So in the last 5 games, we've only conceded 3, and in the previous 5 before that, we conceded 11. So we've definitely tightened up at the back a bit.
Who sent that in on?
Owen Reid.
Owen Reid, okay. No, he raises a good point. We're definitely a lot tighter at the back, because we would have conceded at least 2 goals in that Galway game if we played like we were playing 3 months ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Without doubt, because we were so leaky and we looked like a shadow of our former selves. But players definitely seem to have a bit between the teeth, especially centre halves, throwing themselves at everything. And there seems to be a good togetherness there with the lads. There doesn't seem to be any lack of, I know I'm probably going back, I probably said there was 5 or 6 weeks ago, but obviously in the last 5 to 6 games, there definitely seems to be a bit of good camaraderie there and a bit of togetherness on the pitch, and they are battling for each other. There is a lack of quality, there's no getting away from that, but there's no lack of heart there, which is a good thing to say going into the last 10 games of the season, because we're going to need every bit of fucking heart that we have to survive and to keep away from that last place, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this is it. Like, we have to battle. I was going to say, like, what did you think of Bates again? Like, I know, like Rovers, I kind of put him down to, like, he was probably playing at a level. Rovers' level was probably a bit higher than probably he was expecting, so he was kind of out on his feet in that game, and he kind of went off. In Galway, I was expecting a little bit more from him in Galway. I thought it was the type of game that he could have been, based on the Sligo game, obviously, but he played in. But I thought, like, he could have been stuck in a bit more in that game,
Agreed. Owen?
Yeah, it's kind of quite enough game. Like, nothing particularly poor or anything like that. Just nothing really stood out for me in that game.
It's funny because he was our Lord and Saviour after Sligo. We were all blowing smoke up his ass. He's fucking great. He's amazing. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. 45 minutes. And he did play very well in those 45 minutes. But, I suppose they were to play the team bottom of the league one week and then to play the team top of the league the next week and then to go away to fucking Galway the next. It's probably hard to judge him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, he's terrible, bin him like around like that. But it was just interesting, like, 'cause like you said, like, he was, that's it. We're signing of the season. We're done now. Brilliant. And then, now it's been 2 games since, and it's a bit like, meh, he's all right.
Yeah, but I suppose when you probably can't take him in isolation either from the other night. I mean, none of the midfield came out of that game.
Oh yeah,
with any kind of brownie points. I don't think any of them performed because they didn't get a chance to. I thought Ryan threw himself around the place and was probably a bit more effective in that role, just kind of, I'll kill you kind of role, which he tried in the last couple of minutes. But you need that too. We need Ryan. Ryan's going to be massive for us, I think, going into these last 10 games.
Yeah, definitely the experience in that, and I haven't heard anybody. Just my own opinion, it could be his last year with us. Just a feeling I have. Just a feeling I have, but nothing to back that up.
Well, he did say that 2 years ago. He did say it a couple of years ago that he might be gone next year, and then he stayed on. But
yeah, he did. Yes, but look, he's got his own coaching business up and running as well this year, so he's obviously prepping for life after Drogheda United.
Yeah,
but he'd definitely be vital for the next few games. No,
he really will. And I mean, look, he owes us nothing. He's been an unbelievable servant to the club and all that. And it will be a shame. He's the only Drogheda draw the born and bred player in the bloody team. Like, I mean, I know that's just League of Ireland now. It's a professional sport, and it's not like years ago where you might have 2 or 3 if you were lucky. But we just seem to have a Brennan in that team for the last, I don't know how long. It's rare that we line up without a Brennan in the last 10 years anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean he's yeah, like he like you said, like, on Friday night, like he was trying to get stuck in, but like, you know, like you said, he can't do it on his own, you know. And I've said it before, like early in the year as well, he's trying to do lots of that on his own, and he just needs more help, you know. But yeah, like he's you know, like I think even the commentators were saying that, like they were talking about him, and I think what was the other fella, like on Galway, Stephen Walsh or something like that, and they were talking about both of them being like, you know, like the stalwarts of the clubs and the, you know, and that type of thing there. You know, they were praising both of them for what they were doing, and that's exactly it. Like, you know, he's, you know, if we didn't have, you know, in fairness, like if we didn't have him in the team, then we would definitely be much worse off, I reckon, you know, just for the sake of like that extra little bit of bite and, you know, kind of drive and sort of intensity and getting stuck in, you know, and leadership and stuff like that, like, you know.
No, he's a good leader, and you can see it. He gets in the ref's ear a lot, and you know, that side of the game, and he's good at the dark arts at times, Ryan, too. We know that, like, and you need that in the game. So absolutely. Yeah, look, lads, we'll do the usual predictions for Saturday's game in Cork. So we'll start with you, Fabrice, seeing as you're our special guest.
Whoa, no pressure. Yeah. I don't know what. Do you not keep the score of this? Do you not keep the record? Who's got the most? Who's got the score right? Or
Boga was meant to do a spreadsheet, but he's too lazy.
No, fuck off. You said I should do it. I never said I would do it.
Telling me to fuck off. That's not nice, man. You're not a 9-year-old.
Burger, just get AI to listen back to all the podcasts, and then it'll build up your own spreadsheet. You know, you can do something like that. You know, that's a little project for you there.
I wouldn't want to put AI through that shit.
It's a waste of water.
Waste of water, yeah. Right, I reckon we'll probably win. I reckon 4-0.
4-0. Okay, Owen.
I was going to say 4, but since he said, I'll say 5-0.
Right, I'm going to go 3-0.
Ooh.
So we have a 3, 4, and a 5.
Yeah, get your bets in. Gamble responsibly.
I wouldn't say we get great odds.
No, probably not.
You'd hope not.
Conor Kane hat-trick. There you go.
Conor Kane hat-trick. Jeez, you'll get good odds for that, all right? No problem. Fucking hell. Right, Fabrice, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks a million. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been great. Yeah. So happy to do it, and happy to help out whenever.
Keep sending those faxes.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry. I will. And Burger, listen, you have to read them out the way I write them, right? I don't like the tone of your voice as well. It's a bit dull. So
I'll have to do an impression of you. So yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put a bit more emotion into it, right? So I'll prompt you there in the emails, right?
Yeah, eating the faxes, not emails.
You'll have to write them as a screenplay, you know, emotion, anger, and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
We might get you to jump back on, I suppose, coming towards the end of the season. Maybe before the cup final in the Aviva.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a pitch side in the Aviva. That'd be
yeah. All right, lads. Dead on. I'll talk to you next week, Owen, and we'll talk to you soon, Fabrice.
Thanks, lads. Thanks, chaps.
Cheers, boys.
All the best, lads. Good luck.
Good luck.
And the fishermen come, and the fishermen go, and the water gets dirty all the time.